Contamination OCD, Obsessions, Compulsions, and Treatments. Hi, I'm Michelle Risser, and I'm a licensed therapist specializing in perinatal mental health, including OCD. And let's go over Contamination OCD. In this video, we'll review what is Contamination OCD, common Contamination OCD obsessions and compulsions, outward signs of Contamination OCD, signs of emotional Contamination OCD, and treatment for Contamination OCD. What is Contamination OCD? This is a subtype of OCD that creates obsessions and compulsions centered around avoiding sickness or germs. Decontamination compulsions are what an individual does in response to these obsessions to try to neutralize, decontaminate, or get rid of the thoughts. Contamination OCD can take many forms, but the most common presentation focuses on diseases and potential poisons. Those with Contamination OCD may develop hours of compulsive rituals before they realize how far the disorder has gone. Common Contamination OCD obsessions include: what if I spread an illness to my child or a loved one? What if I touch something contaminated and I don't realize it? What if I eat something spoiled and I need to go to the hospital? What if I get sick and I can't handle the symptoms? What if I spread disease to a random stranger? What if my home becomes contaminated and I can't escape? What if I'm so uncomfortable or disgusted I can't handle it? Compulsions and Contamination OCD are what an individual does in response to their obsession with avoiding disease. This can feel overwhelming and frustrating. It's important for loved ones not to blame someone for Contamination OCD symptoms, such as ritualizing, because this promotes feelings of shame. Instead, work to support them and response prevention if they're open to help. Common Contamination OCD compulsions include repetitive hand washing or showering, asking others to decontaminate themselves or their belongings, laundry, wiping down groceries, phones, doorknobs, or other surfaces, avoiding certain areas or things like a restroom, airplane, elevators, keeping one area of the home pristine, for example, the bed. Mental compulsions like praying, counting, or picturing images after seeing a contaminated person or item. Researching effects of contaminants, seeking reassurance from loved ones, or excessive researching online. Common outward signs of Contamination OCD include excessive hand washing, an excessive shower routine, an excessive laundry routine, including washing clothing or bedding once or even more each day, an excessive fear of illness, avoiding touching items without a barrier like a paper towel or a tissue. Signs of emotional Contamination OCD. Emotional Contamination OCD can look a little different for each person, but it may look like avoiding saying a word like cancer or another disease out of fear of increasing the risk, avoiding being near the emotionally contaminated person. This could be anyone that the person with OCD latches onto. Avoiding touching the contaminated person's items, or performing rituals after being triggered by emotional contaminants. How do you treat Contamination OCD? The most effective treatment for OCD is exposure and response prevention, ERP, and/or medication. The International OCD Foundation confirms that about 70% of people with OCD benefit from ERP and/or medication. This effective treatment gives agency and hope to those suffering with OCD. Final thoughts on Contamination OCD. OCD can be debilitating and overwhelming. If you or someone you love is struggling with OCD, know that you're not alone. Reaching out to a trusted friend or an OCD specialist can be a scary but powerful first step.